Welcome to Less Than 12 Parsecs, the fastest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. Now here's your host, Tim McMahon.
All right, today's episode is with Dennis Keithly and Darth Taxus from... Well, gentlemen, tell the world where you're from.
Well, we are from Starships, Sabers and Scoundrels. This is our bi-weekly show where we do a little bit of news, a little bit of discussion, and Taxus throws in a little bit to a lot of shtick.
Yeah, because I don't really contribute much more than that. I'm in a geosynchronous orbit over Dennis in my flagship, the Assessor Collector.
I don't think you give yourself enough credit. You bring something special to the show. What I love about your show is the relationship between you two. It's there's always a great straight man comedy bit going on. I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate you looking at me as the straight man, but I don't really want to speak for Dennis. Go ahead, Dennis. I'm
going to start talking. You're interrupting me, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, right. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, it's fun to get into some discussion. You never know what's going to come out of Taxus's mouth, and that's just half the fun. Sometimes the show ends up in places that frequently I did not intend for it to go.
How did you guys meet? How did you form the show?
Well, let's see. We both listened to a lot. Thanks. We both listened to a lot of the same podcasts, and just we both got into the habit of communicating with podcasters, and noticed that we were talking to a lot of the same people. And then we discovered that we were living in North Texas. Both of us are here, and so one day we met up for lunch and hatched a plan for a podcast, and the rest is history.
Yeah, it was really Dan Zare from Coffee with Kenobi that dared us to do it too. So everybody out there has him to thank for this.
So if you had blame. If you hadn't taken the dare, what would have been the price you would have had to pay? Every great dare, if you don't take it, you got to pay a penalty.
You know what? We'd be just badgering everybody else. It was always an interest. And for us, we both kind of had different ideas what we'd like to do if we ever got into podcasting. Like I said, we've enjoyed so many different shows, and with Taxus, you never know what's going to come out of his mouth. One day it's Darth Vader calling into a radio station, and then the next day you're getting the Emperor holding a press conference at the end of the football season. And so it's been quite the roller coaster.
The dark side moves through us all, just through me a lot faster and harder than anybody else.
Right. And you guys are on the RetroZap network. How did you find a home there? Because it's one of my favorite networks out there.
Oh, thanks. Well, I've been...
I liked it before you guys were on it, so...
Oh, well,
I'm surprised you still do.
I'm surprised we're still there. Yeah. I've been doing the comic book reviews for Marvel Star Wars comics, and then I did Civil War this past year. And so I know Joe, and I mentioned that we were talking about doing a podcast, and he invited us to join the network that they've got going on over there. A lot of great shows.
And even though you're bringing Darth Taxus along, they still accepted you, huh?
Begrudgingly.
But I had pictures I threatened to share with the rest of the Star Wars community.
So what have you guys got planned for the future? That's what everyone wants to know. What's coming up next?
Well, we've just finished up our 21st episode. We're kind of thinking ahead. There's a lot of celebration things to discuss. Of course, episode 8, which I guess we know now is The Last Jedi, is coming out. So that we're planning a lot of things around that. This summer, we are planning a bit of a book club for some Scoundrel special editions.
Yeah.
And then I think we are going to do a bit of a series on to open or not to open your action figures.
Tomorrow morning, I was going to go down to the corner store and get a breakfast burrito.
Okay. On that note, I'm going to wrap it up. Time is flying by here. So before we go, please tell everyone at home where they can find you guys online.
Our show can be found at retrozap.com/Starships, Sabers and Scoundrels. We are on Twitter at SQPod and Facebook at facebook.com/SQPod.
I'm at Darth Taxus, and Dennis is at DJKVER2.
That's correct, on Twitter.
On Twitter.
Great. Well, thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
You've been listening to Less Than 12 Parsecs, the fastest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy, part of the expanded Fandomverse network of shows. For links and show notes, visit our website, TwelveParsecsPodcast.com. Follow Less Than 12 Parsecs on Twitter at 12parpod, on Instagram at 12parsecsPodcast, on Tumblr at 12parsecsPodcast, and find us on Facebook as well. And please let us know what you think. Email us at 12parsecsPodcast@gmail.com.
Please be sure to check out the show notes or visit 12parsekspodcast.com to find out how you can win the hashtag Sleepy Star Wars contest. It's something we're doing with the good folks from the Skyhoppers Star Wars podcast. Check it out. And hey, while you're online, you might as well leave me a review on iTunes and or Stitcher. I'd really appreciate it. Please and thank you.